Radhe Radhe, spiritual good morning to one and all on Saturday, 30th July 2022, where Mummy and I are here to record this recap video for our Bhagavad Gita Study, Chapter 6 class from today.
Radhe Radhe, everybody.
I'll go ahead and share the screen and talk briefly about what we covered today, which was specifically Chapter 6, verses 1 and 2. As always, we first had a quiz, this time 5 questions, covering a couple of things from chapter 5 first, because those are the items we covered as a recap last time. And then chapter 6, a couple of questions, and then 2 verses, chapter 6, verse 1, with the catchphrase, renunciates redefined. Let's hear the recitation first, and then talk briefly about it.
Shri Bhagavanu Vacha Anashritah Karma Phalam Karyam Karma Karoti Yaha Sa Sannyasi Cha Yogi Cha Naniragnirna Chakriyaha.
So chapter 6, verse 1, as I said, the catchphrase here is renunciates redefined. Here we have Sri Krishna telling Arjun outrightly what again a sannyasi truly is, or who a sannyasi truly is. There is often, perhaps up to this stage, a confusion that a sannyasi is someone who we just see from the outside as having given up food, only subsisting or maintaining his life on milk, fruit, even just breath, etc. But if the mind is still hankering for worldly desires, then that is not true renunciation. So Sri Krishna says very explicitly here that if you have merely ceased performing sacrifices, such as the Hotra Yagna we briefly talked about, or stopping bodily activities, that's not enough to be called a true renunciate or renunciant or a true yogi. It is to do with renunciation of the results, the fruits of one's actions. As often the reminder from chapter 2, verse 47, you are entitled to the efforts you put in, but not to the outcomes, the rewards. Everything is to be done for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. So here again, in the explanation, Swamiji describes to us the various examples of perceived sannyasis, but it is really, again, the fact that the mind needs to be pure. And that mind can be pure by absorbing it in God fully. If one is able to do that, you attach your mind to God through bhakti, sadhana, and other forms of loving devotion, then in even our householder life, such as a grihastha, one can perform karma yoga. We've talked about that in several chapters now. Perform worldly duties, all in the spirit of humble service to God. That is what helps us recognize that as a yogi, you are then also a sannyasi. Then we moved on to chapter 6, verse 2.
Yam sannyāsamiti prahuhu yogam tam vidhi pandava na hya sanyasta sankalpo yogi bhavati kaschana.
So chapter 6, verse 2, more alliteration here, the catchphrase being yukt yogis. We got a reminder through the commentary of the 2 kinds of vairagya, which also we covered through a quiz question last week, because those concepts had also come up earlier in chapter 5. So here, Sri Krishna is saying that what is known as sannyas, that truly is actually not different from yoga. Because again, yogis who renounce, in this case, worldly desires, they are renunciates and renunciants. So yoga, sannyas, very, very similar. So again, giving up the pleasures of the mind and senses, that's important, but also having a specific direction is very, very essential. The example often given is you want to go from city A to city B, but if city B is the wrong place, you're in the wrong direction, 2 things can happen. You can stop along your journey and that's it. Or you can turn around and go, in fact, in the correct direction or along the correct direction to that intended city that you were trying to get to. So in this case, again, there's hopefully a recognition, the mind notices that it is being attached to the material world. So one can stop doing that. But if one doesn't put efforts then to dovetail that, channel it towards God, then there again cannot really be spiritual progress. So it's important to not just stop, but also take that U-turn along that specific spiritual journey. So again, we got a reminder of Falgu Vairagya. We'll send out images that we mentioned as well in the slides that accompany this video. And that will be a reminder of, on the surface, it looks like things are fine. But if the mind inside is very tense and hankering for material things, then just like that Falgu River in Gaya, Bihar, you dig underneath the sand a few feet and you find water gushing under it. That is very, very unstable, because when things get hard, an important English word here, when things are arduous, you face challenges, then the tendency under Falgu Vairagya is to run away from that aspect. But then when the new aspect gets harder, then again, the desire becomes to try to run away from that. So that is again unstable Falgu Vairagya. What we all are trying to strive for is Yukt Vairagya, which is recognizing that everything is the energy, the power, and the giving of God, including things like money. But if utilized properly in humble service of God, that is wonderful because it doesn't obstruct or impede one's spiritual progress. And so with that Yukt Vairagya, one gets into a very, very stable situation. So even when the going gets tough, life has challenges and difficulties, one will not give up and try to have an escapist mentality. So finally, in conclusion for the explanation, we recognized and learned that sannyas and yoga are very similar. And so to be a yogi, you have to be a sannyasi from within. And in turn, you can be a sannyasi only if you are a yogi, again, who has given up all these material desires, the goal being God realization, to have that union of the individual consciousness with the supreme divine consciousness. Mummy, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Gagan. Beautiful explanation. And from these words, Falgu Vairagya and Yukt Vairagya, I'm reminded of a story. Sage Ashtavakra, he was having a session with his disciples, and the disciples were thinking that Sage Ashtavakra is giving too much attention to King Janak. And he thought, these disciples were thinking, we are on our spiritual process so well. And why is it that Ashtavakra is all the time giving importance to King Janak? Now, Ashtavakra sage, he realized what is going on in these disciples' mind. So he created a situation to teach them that what is the difference between them and King Janak. And that is of the that is what will explain these two Falgu Vairagya and Yukt Vairagya. So what happened? Sage Ashtavakra created a fire in King Janak's kingdom. But King Janak's devotion and dedication to learning was so much that he did not get bothered by that fire. He didn't start running to his kingdom. He had fully dedicated and trusted and had faith in God, and he had surrendered himself to God. So he had no worries. He thought God will take care. Now, to show the Falgu Vairagya of these disciples, Sage Ashtavakra sent some monkeys where their clothes were being dried on the lines. And these disciples ran. They forgot about the session and they ran to save their small loin cloths. And this is when Sage Ashtavakra told that, look, you guys, just for those small, simple pieces of clothes, you ran away like crazy. And whereas King Janak, he didn't care because he had total Yukt Vairagya. Yukt Vairagya means he was totally dedicated and he was in loving devotion to God, and he had full trust and faith. He had surrendered himself fully. So once we surrender ourselves fully, that is when God automatically takes care of us. So that is the difference between Falgu Vairagya. Falgu Vairagya means they became monks, but inside they were worried about even small, small worldly things. So that is what we have to learn, how to slowly develop Yukt Vairagya with total loving devotion to God. And that is what Krishna says, that such a yogi, such a yogi will attain God realization faster. Does that help, Gagan?
Indeed, helpful story there to distinguish between Falgu Vairagya and Yukt Vairagya. In the context of Sanskrit words, do you have any one or two that you might want us to take away from today?
Yes, I have chosen two very important words and they are quite easy also. The first word I want everybody to see is anashritaha. Anashritaha means not desiring. That means we have to stop desiring these worldly material things. And then we have to take a sankalp. Sankalp is now to desire. So what do we desire? We desire to attach our mind to God. We want God's loving devotion. So two words, anashritaha and sankalpaha.
That's interesting. They're sort of opposites in this case, but very helpful, as you said. The first one, not desiring material objects. Second one, though, desiring, in fact, devotion and service. So really, really useful over there.
Yeah, so that means basically dovetailing. Dovetailing everything towards God realization.
Absolutely. Yep. I think that hopefully covers the recap for the two verses we provided today and discussed in class. Again, chapter 6, verse 1, renunciates redefined, and then chapter 6, verse 2, yukt yogis. So with that, we come to the end of this recap video. We shall see you all hopefully next week, Saturday, 6th August 2022, same time, 8 a.m. Central Time in Dallas, Texas, 6:30 p.m. same day, Saturday, India time. Till then, Radhe Radhe. Thank you very much.
Radhe Radhe.